Welcome to Win the Day from Back to the Bible. I'm your coach, Pastor Nat, and today we're going to talk about choosing your friendships well. As a father and as a seasoned person, I totally recognize the danger and potential of who your friends are. Jim Rohn, he called it the power of 5. He said this because you become the composite of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. This influence, it isn't just limited to friendships. It's impacted by the shows you watch, the music you listen to, the articles you read. In other words, where your attention is, your destiny lies. But does that really have such an influence? Does it really matter? I mean, if we're saved, then we're covered, right? James has the harsh answer for us today in James chapter 4, beginning in verse 3. You ask and don't receive because you ask with wrong motives, so that you may spend it on your pleasures. You adulterous people! Don't you know that friendship with the world is hostility towards God? So whoever wants to be the friend of the world becomes the enemy of God. Or do you think it's without reason that the Scripture says, the Spirit He made to dwell in us envies intensely? Here in verses 3 through 5, we find one of the harshest rebukes in all of the New Testament. James here is just continuing a thought about the inner war of pride, envy, and selfish ambition. In verse 2, James said, "You have not because you ask not." Well, ask for what? Ask God for wisdom to think and live in a godly manner. The issue, as James points out, is the inner motives for asking and desiring. They were not pure or right. Their motives were selfish. They were self-indulgent. That's when James calls out these people. He calls them adulterous. This is so deeply offensive, but it's also very telling. So what exactly was happening? James says that friendship with the world is offensive to God. It makes God our enemy. Now, at the Crawford house, we are big Duke Blue Devil fans. If my wife or my son showed up in a Tar Heels jersey or a shirt, I would flip my lid. I would feel like they flipped from a family member to a fiend. How much more so our view and relationship with the values and the habits of the world in our relationship with God. John wrote in 1 John 2, verse 15, "Do not love this world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him." Friend, this is a battle for us all. It takes wisdom. It takes discipline. It even takes some accountability. We need to surround ourselves with some godly influence and feed ourselves wisely. So here's my challenge for you today. I want you to keep a spiritual food log. I'd like you to actively record who you spend your time with. I want you to write down what you fill your time with. Who is influencing your worldview? Is it your coworkers? Is it your friends? Is it your family members? I want you to take note. What are you filling your time with? Is it social media? Is it the streaming series on Netflix or Hulu? What are you listening to? Who are you reading? How are these things, these influences shaping? How are they influencing your beliefs? If we're not intentional with where we are giving our time and our focus, we will become adulterous with God. So today, I want you to keep a log and become intentional each and every day. When we do this, friend, we will win the day.